Hey guys, welcome back. So first off, this is a sponsored review. The folks at Leppein were nice enough to send me a pair of LED bulbs at no charge to test out and do a little review on. So the video clip you just watched was I installed a pair in my 2010 Mercury Grand Marquis in the front turn signals, going through all the different modes. So these bulbs are called the 3157 dual color switchback LED. And before we get started here, I think we should talk a little bit about these bulbs because it can get confusing with the different part numbers. So let me give you a quick look at the bulb first. So this right here is the driver's side turn signal assembly out of my Grand Marquis, and that's the bulb right there. You can see it's got LEDs on the top, bottom, and both sides, and even on the front. And you may know or you may not know, but the Grand Marquis have a cornering light, and it's just a basic white light that only comes on when the turn signal comes on. Okay, so this right here is the page that talks about the bulb part numbers for my Grand Marquis, and what I want to talk about is these four bulbs right here. So the bulb that I removed to replace this new LED is called the parking lamp and turn signal lamp, and the part number is a 3457 AK amber, and that's this little guy right here. Now the next bulb I want to talk about is the tail light and stop light and turn signal light for the rear, and it's a 3157K, and that's this one right here. Now these next two lights are similar. This one is the cornering lamp, the one I just mentioned right here, and it's called the part number is a 3156K. Now there's also another bulb called a backup lamp, and those are the two lights that come on when you put the car in reverse, and that's also a 3156K. Now why am I bringing this up? The reason why I'm bringing this up is because all three of these bulbs are very similar, meaning that they all have the same base, they all have the same socket, and they all have the same shape of glass. Now the difference is the 3156 that goes in the cornering light and the reverse light is only a single filament bulb, so there's only one filament in here. Now, what makes this different about the 3157 is it's just like the 3156, except it has two filaments, a low light and a high light. Now this one right here, the 3457, is exactly the same as this one, except you can see the glass is yellow. So both the parking lamp and the turn signal is going to be yellow. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because these lights here, the 3157 Leppein, they're a dual color switchback, and so what that means is on the parking lamp they're actually white, and then when you turn on the turn signal it goes amber. And so it doesn't necessarily match the factory specification of having both parking and turn signals amber in color, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's head right into my pros and cons. Now if you just saw the clip at the beginning of the video, you know these things are bright, and I'll even say they're extremely bright. And the reason I say that is because they're almost as bright as my headlights. And when I'm driving on the road, these turn signal bulbs light up speed limit signs and road signs that are about maybe 1/8 of a mile down the road. So if you're looking for bright turn signals and you want to get noticed, these are them. The second pro is these have a 1-year warranty through the manufacturer. And my third pro is no resistor was needed for my 2010 Mercury Grand Marquis. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I put these in my Crown Victoria and they hyper flashed, which means I need to install a resistor to maintain the correct flashing speed. So that's interesting that they hyper flash in my 2004 Crown Vic, but in my 2010 Grand Marquis they work perfectly fine with no resistors. Now the fourth pro I've got on here is they appear to have a heavy-duty construction, and the reason why I say that is because even though the base is plastic, you know, just like these regular halogens, the housing that holds the LED chips is actually metal, and I think it might even be aluminum when I touched it. And the reason why that's important is because that's going to give a good heat dissipation, so these things don't overheat. Okay, so that's it for pros. Let's get into the cons. As far as cons, I'm going to say the price. These things are $22.99, and that might just be me complaining about, you know, everything costs too much these days, but, you know, what can you do? Now, the second con I've got on here is that I need a resistor, excuse me, for my 2004 Crown Victoria, and I sent Leppein a email, and they're supposed to send me some resistors so I can install them on my Crown Vic, and I'll do another video on what they look like in the Crown Victoria. Okay, so let's get into the neutral, and these are polarity sensitive. And what that means is if you install them and they don't come on, you need to remove them, flip them 180 degrees and put them right back in, and they'll work. So not really a big deal. Now my next neutral is the color temperature. The color temperature of the parking lamp is 6500 degree Kelvin, and so it's going to be white, but it does have a slight bluish tint to it, you know, ever so slight. And the color temperature of the amber is 1500 degree Kelvin, and I would like to call that a deep amber color. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now let's get into the current draw. I measured this factory halogen bulb here with my Fluke 115 meter. And what I got is the stock halogens. The current draw is 520 milliamps, and on the Leppein LED it only draws 170 milliamps. Now I don't expect you to know what that means, so I'll try to tell you in plain English. The Leppeins on the parking lamp setting uses 68% less electricity. And that's kind of a big deal, because when you're driving at night, you know, I want to say 90% of your time the parking lamps are on, and so that's going to save you a little bit of electricity. Now when it comes to the turn signal amperage draw on the factory stock halogen, I measured it at 1901 milliamps. And then I measured the Leppein, and it's only 1125 milliamps. So that's going to be 41% less electricity. So that's not as good as the parking lamp, but it really doesn't come into play because the turn signals, they're not constantly on. When they are on, they're just flashing, and that's only when you're turning, so it's not really a big deal there. And I measured these, I got these measurements with the engine off at 12.6 volts. Okay, so I don't know what else I can say about these things. I'm pretty impressed with them by how bright they are. I've been driving around with them for about a week now, and they appear to be brighter than some brand new cars with factory halogen, or excuse me, with factory LED turn signals. Okay, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.